Iran has responded to Pakistan's ceasefire initiative, demanding a permanent end to the war with the US and Israel. State media says Tehran's conditions include a new protocol for passage in the Strait of Hormuz. That's after a renewed wave of Israeli attacks on dozens of aircraft in Tehran and other locations in the country. The strikes come shortly after it targeted Iran's largest petrochemical complex in the port city of Asaluah. The facility processes natural gas from the offshore South Pars field. Well, Iran says the attack damaged several production units. Strikes hit facilities that supply the complex with electricity, water and oxygen, bringing operations to a halt. The Israeli Defense Minister says the attack's a severe economic blow to Tehran. Last month, Israel hit a storage facility in the South Pars gas field. Iran responded by targeting energy sites across the region, including Qatar's Ras Laffan facility. Well, South Pars forms part of a 9,700 square kilometre gas field, the largest on Earth, jointly held by Iran and Qatar. For Iran, South Pars is the backbone of its energy supply, meeting around 80% of the country's domestic natural gas demand. Stretching beneath the Gulf, the field is divided. Roughly one-third lies within Iran's territory as South Pars, while the larger share extends into Qatari waters, known as the North Dome Field. Well, we are live in Dubai, Ramallah in the occupied West Bank, the White House and Tehran. Let's begin with Ali Hashem in the Iranian capital. Good to see you, Ali. So Iran, we understand, responding to Pakistan's ceasefire initiative. What more do we know?
Well, Iran responded to the 15 points initiative that was, or at least 15 points that President Trump sent. The Iranians seem to have refused parts of this plan. Mainly, they responded with calling for peace to be across the region. They do not want a ceasefire. They have issues. They are having reservations. They're putting reservations on the idea of ceasefire. So they want a peace plan for the whole region. That means all regional conflicts that are already going on right now. They want them to be part of this solution. Second thing, that they want a protocol for safe passage in the Strait of Hormuz. This is what they are offering. Also, clearly, they're saying that based on previous experiences with the United States, they cannot accept a ceasefire. That's why they want something comprehensive and completely different. This is what the Iranians are putting now on the table. How, with the other side, how President Trump is going to deal with this is going to be the big question.
All right, Ali, back with you in a second. Let's now speak to our White House correspondent, Kimberly Halkett, and look at this in more detail with you, Kimberly. So, confirmation the Iranians are engaging in diplomatic efforts with terms of their own. We talked previously about dual-track diplomacy coming from the US, so issuing threats while apparently engaging in talks. Can you shed some light on where we are right now when it comes to the US stance?
Well, it still is a dual track. What we know is that the vice president, along with Middle East envoys Witkoff and Kushner, and also the Secretary of State, but for the most part, the vice president has been leading these discussions and these back channel discussions with intermediaries. But the bottom line is that there has been no signature from the U.S. president on any deal that would lead to a 45-day ceasefire, because as you point out, the U.S. president is continuing with these threats and that looming deadline of Tuesday, 8 p.m. Washington time, for there to be some sort of agreement that would not only halt hostilities, but also reopen the Strait of Hormuz. In fact, the U.S. president continuing that maximum pressure in order to get Iran to comply, saying he will, quote, blow up the whole country if a deal's not reached. Now, the U.S. president is expected to have a 17 GMT press conference today where he'll be talking about the rescue of the second airman from that F-15E, a story that Al Jazeera English broke on Saturday evening. We're going to hear from the president and hopefully also get some clarity on where things stand, not only on the discussions, but also on whether or not he really is firm about this deadline, given the fact that the U.S. president has issued deadlines to reopen the strait before, only to extend them.
Thanks, Kimberly. Back with Ali Hashem in Tehran. Ali, so as Kimberly was saying there, dual track diplomacy is happening right now. So the threat of violence coupled with but the potential for talks. We have seen the threat of violence become a reality in Iran in the past 24 hours, particularly when it comes to the targeting of the South Pars facility by Israeli forces. What more are you learning on that?
Well, the attack on South Pars comes as the attacks on other infrastructure is going on. We saw attacks on universities on South Pars, which is actually a strategic field for the Iranians. And given the precedents, this is going to trigger a retaliation that is going to overcomplicate the whole situation. We've seen attacks on pharmaceutical factories. We've seen attacks on chemical factories. We've seen attacks on universities today. The University of Sharif, that's described by the Iranian foreign minister as the MIT of Iran yesterday. University of Behishti day before on Ilm wa Sana'at and others. So what we are seeing currently is a kind of a deliberate attacking of the infrastructure, science infrastructure, also infrastructure related to the factories, and also now we're seeing energy, plus the latest announcement by the Israelis that they've attacked several planes in different airports. We have Mehrabad, this morning, 4 a.m. in the morning. Then today, Mashhad, 3 explosions were had at that. It's the second biggest city in Iran, by the way. And to the south of Iran, Ahwaz, also yesterday there have been around 3 airstrikes on the airport.
Ali Hashem in Tehran, thank you.